Go. And thereof, the Randox Grand National Festival gets underway with the Grade 1 EBC Group Manifesto Novices Chase. Short run to the first Roubaix, Facile Mode, the first two to rise. Gidleigh Park, the orange and maroon, is on the outside. Croke Park, the maroon and white, on the inner, going a good gallop on towards fence number 2, which is another plain one. The first 4 followed by Jango Baie and the grey, the Kaluki Kid. Facile Mode was far from convincing there and just dropped back to be in company with Impaire Et Passe, Mark of Gold, and held up Boomborn as they come to the first open ditch. Gidleigh Park made a lovely shape over that on the outside of Roubaix, the purple with the pink stars. And on the inner, Croke Park and Sam Ewing. Jango Baie, the Arkle winner, in 4th place ahead of the Kaluki Kid as they get over fence number 4. Impaire Et Passe is weighted with on the outer of the Kaluki Kid. Closest to the inside rail is Boomborn and Harry Skelton. Mark of Gold, Caelan Quinn next. And the back marker after that slow early jump is the outsider, Facile Mode. They have taken the first 4 and are now running towards the cross fence number 5. Brian Carver and Gidleigh Park leading the 9-strong field. Roubaix the outside, and on the inner is Croke Park. Jango Baie, Nico de Boinville in 4th position, just under 4 lengths off the lead, with Impaire Et Passe, last year's Aintree hurdle winner. On the outer, matching strides with the Kaluki Kid. And then Boomborn, Mark of Gold, and Facile Mode. Into the home straight. Fence 6 is plain. Gidleigh Park gets over it in front, with Roubaix and Harry Cobden on the outside. Croke Park tracking Gidleigh Park as they come to their next open ditch. Fence number 7. Jango Baie continues in 4th. Gidleigh Park just quite clever there, putting himself right before taking that open ditch. To Roubaix in 2nd, Croke Park, Jango Baie, Impaire Et Passe in the cheek pieces today on the outside of the Kaluki Kid and Danny McMenamin. Boomborn is still on the inner. Next, Mark of Gold, and a little detached is Facile Mode. As they come to fence 8, it'll be the last next time around. Gidleigh Park was over that in front, was quite low, but hasn't stopped him galloping on with a 3-length lead over Roubaix in 2nd. Half a length then to Croke Park in 3rd, followed by Jango Baie. Impaire Et Passe, the Kaluki Kid, and Boomborn dispute 5th position, ahead of Mark of Gold, who's another length and a half back, and then 2 or 3 more to Facile Mode as they come to the end of their first circuit in the EBC Group Manifesto Novices Chase. And Gidleigh Park continues to take them along, with Roubaix in 2nd place and Croke Park in 3rd. Jango Baie 4th. The next fence coming up quickly. It's number 9 of the 16. Gidleigh Park, Roubaix. Slight mistake in second last position from Mark of Gold, who's just becoming a little bit outpaced. Jango Baie still in 4th. Impaire Et Passe, Paul Townend, the double green on the outside. Then the Kaluki Kid ahead of Boomborn. Over the next, Gidleigh Park takes that nicely as they now run to the 3rd fence in the back, number 11. It is an open ditch. Gidleigh Park to Roubaix. Croke Park in 3rd position. Gidleigh Park over that. Roubaix next in the field. Jango Baie was a little less than fluent there. On the outside then is Impaire Et Passe just moving up. Final one in the back straight. Gidleigh Park gets to it in front of Roubaix. Croke Park just moving off the inside. On the outer, Impaire Et Passe of Jango Baie. Up the inside, Boomborn. The inner of the Kaluki Kid. And then 2.5 to Mark of Gold. And a few more to Facile Mode. So 4 left to jump here. Gidleigh Park has cut out most of the running under Brian Carver. Roubaix to the outside as they come to the 4th last fence. Gidleigh Park, Roubaix, Croke Park in between them. Boomborn going for a run up the inside. Impaire Et Passe on the outer. Jango Baie is off the bridle there. Kaluki Kid is coming under pressure. Mark of Gold is trying to stay on as they turn in the EBC Group Manifesto. 3 left to jump. Gidleigh Park still the leader. Roubaix poised in 2nd. Impaire Et Passe the outside. Gidleigh Park over 3 out to Roubaix. Impaire Et Passe moving into 3rd. Boomborn still held together. Croke Park under pressure. Jango Baie still close enough. Now in 5th position, about 4 or 5 off the lead. The final ditch 2 out. Gidleigh Park stood off that too far. He just made it though. Here's Impaire Et Passe breezing up on the outside. Roubeau dropping to third. Boomborn is still there in challenging for third, and Jango Baie staying on the outside. Impaire Et Passe going on to Gidleigh Park in second, the 16th and final fence. Impaire Et Passe sails over it. Gidleigh Park second. Jango Baie has stayed on into third, and then Boomborn. Impaire Et Passe in front with 75 yards to run. Jango Baie storming home on the outer of Gidleigh Park, but Impaire Et Passe wins at Aintree again and takes the Manifesto. Tight second, Gidleigh Park and Jango Baie. Boomborn in fourth.
Well, Mullins makes his mark. You shouldn't be surprised. The double green of Simon Monier and Isaac Swade, carried by Paul Townend to victory in the opening Grade 1. Impaire Et Passe. Probably Townend found himself in front sooner than he'd have liked. But Gidleigh Park's error meant that he had to make the best of his way home, and Gidleigh Park and Jango Baie fought out for second. But this horse is classy, and the cheek pieces might have helped him today. The break might have helped him. The spring ground might have helped him. One thing's for sure, he loves Aintree, he loves a Grade 1, and for a horse they say is quirky, he loves winning races.
Yeah, remarkable performance considering how he stood off 3 out. That could have the fine margins that we discussed in top level jumps racing. Gidleigh Park was almost a sufferer of it on the first circuit when he was very low at the what is the last next time around, and Impaire Et Passe stood miles off that third last, still full of running. He'd been taken wide by Paul. We were speculating as to why that tactic might have been in place, but his quality just shone through. Tanked through the race, produced a lead between the last two. Not the same drama as 12 months ago in the Aintree hurdle, but still a fair bit as Jango Baie flashed home again.
Gidleigh Park made an error at the same fence on both circuits. Otherwise, his jumping was good, and he's run a superb race for Harry Fry and Brian Carver.
It was a huge run from him, wasn't it? And he's just underlined the level of ability that he's got. It's up to now, he's kind of beaten horses on a more minor meetings, the likes of Lucky Place and Jukebox Man. He's beaten good horses, but not at this level of meeting, whereas this was a big effort from Gidleigh Park in defeat, despite two notable errors where he just stood off and showed his novice status, I suppose, to some extent, showed his inexperience over fences.
All right, green colours, Impaire Et Passe. As I said, you'd think Paul Townend would have wanted to wait even longer, but he couldn't get a toe for longer.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Impaire Et Passe is concerned, it's a performance that you couldn't really knock it in any way. He's jumped really well. He's travelled best of the field throughout the whole race, really. He had a wide trip, but he had them covered on the home turn. And then when he's got to the front, which was maybe, as you say, a little bit earlier than Paul might have hoped to get him there, he has just idled, pricked his ears, gone to the rail. But he's ultimately, well on top.
Not in such an exaggerated fashion, but Jango Baie has run kind of like he did in the Arkle. He threatened to get completely out of it, and then has run on really strongly.
Yeah, he was sort of obscured from full view when he seemed to make a mistake in the back straight, as the gallop was still true set by Gidleigh Park. That knocked him back slightly, and then he looked outpaced for sure 3 out, but he has come home with a rattle. We can't help this, thinking to future targets. But he probably is. He's an Arkle winner. He probably is looking at being a 3 mile horse, isn't he? We're thinking of King George's, Betfair Chases.